Let's fight, folks. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. You're going to want to share the live tonight. You're going to want to smash that emoji button, folks. We got a lot of things to discuss this evening. Pace and power, boots on the ground. No backing down this evening, folks. The PPP government is falling. Folks, I tell you, they are falling. Share that live for us. Smash, smash, smash that emoji button. Do let us know if you're seeing us on Facebook. For some reason or the other, we didn't get through to our Facebook page this morning. But do let us know if you're seeing us on Facebook. Great to have each and every one of you on the live tonight, folks. On Facebook in live and living color. We are happy and privileged that you guys are here with us. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear wherever you are joining us from this evening, folks. This evening, wherever you're joining us from, pace and power. You're going to want to smash that emoji button for us. You're going to want to share the live, folks, and partner with us as well so that we can get this project off the ground and going good, folks. We can talk about that a little later on the other side of the broadcast. We got a lot to share with you this evening, folks, and let's start where we always do at the opener. You see this cash grant issue got a lot of problems. You see this cash grant issue got a lot of problems. This cash transfer, cash grant, whatever name you call it, it has got a lot of problems. And you see this fake population business, this thing that they're trying to jit, Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton had some views on that quite recently. This population thing, they're not accounting for a large portion of the population. Or they're overpopulated in this country. Maybe it's that 12 billion they're trying to siphon off, good folks. Just maybe, it's that 20 million they're trying to siphon off. Take a look, folks, and take a listen.
There is a view that the ruling party wants to convince people that Guyana's population has gone past 1 million. Opposition leader Aubrey Norton said that there is a reason for this.
Now, you had 746,955. I think the last figure I saw from the US is a migration of something like 5,000 per month.
Mm.
So if you have 5,000 per month,
That's 60,000 a year.
it's 60,000.
He said that even if the rate of migration is reduced to 3,000 a month from the 2012 census, at least 400,000 Guyanese have left the shore since then.
They're going down this road. First, you have to recognize that they refuse to release the census. Word out there is that they tried to get the people at Statsboro to change the number.
Yeah.
To put it, and even that, I think they had a conflict. One wanted 900, one wanted 1 million. Now, the people at Statsboro, it is reported, refuse to do so.
He said the PPP is trying to maintain a padded electoral list.
It is trying to create the impression that Guyana has more than 1 million people, or at least 1 million, which will facilitate, one, the padding of the list, and two, the numbers they are going to use to T3 money. So one has to see all of these in the context of the wicked nature of the People's Progressive Party.
Norton said by increasing the size of the population, the government is preparing a bed for increased corruption.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. Talking about creating an impression. Thank you very much, Mr. Norton. Talking about creating an impression, the president of Guyana, Irfan Ali, took to the National Assembly last week to announce a raft of measures, folks, and try to outline broadly his vision for the country. Soon, in a matter of hours, when he had done that, folks, one particular issue stood out, that they had promised $200,000 for each household in Guyana. $200,000. Folks, tonight this cash grant take $200,000. And he said it was going to be given out instantaneously. In a matter of hours, the vice president came and counted that. He said it won't be instantaneously. It'll be in about 5 months' time. We'll get the program rolling and we get the money given out. Yep. That was take two. So tonight, perhaps what was announced earlier, is take 3 of the cash grant, because the president says it's no longer $200,000 per household. He says it's $100,000 per adult. $100,000 per adult. That is what he said. You know, some folks are saying by time next week, this time it could be $50,000 or $25,000. This is what Irfan Ali said. I really want you to take a good listen and a good look at some of what he said just this afternoon. About this new measure. It's no longer, as we said, $200,000. It's $100,000 per family. Take a look. Take a listen.
My fellow Guyanese, last Thursday, I announced a series of measures in keeping with my government's aim of increasing disposable income, creating better opportunities, and building prosperity for all the people of Guyana. As is always the case with such initiatives, my government's aim is to ensure ease of implementation, removal of barriers to access, and simplification of administrative procedures, always in the best interests of the population. It goes without saying that in a normal course of implementation, my government ensure pre and post testing and analysis of every measure. These analyses are critical to ensure the greatest impact and highest level of efficiency in the delivery of service. Over the past week, thousands of Guyanese have engaged myself and members of my cabinet, providing extremely favorable feedback on the measures announced last Thursday. And tens of thousands have publicly expressed their welcoming of these measures, particularly in relation to the announcement of a one-off cash grant of $200,000 to every household in Guyana. Several persons, families have indicated to my government the complications they foresee in the implementation of this much welcome benefit and the fear of being left out. It is the understanding of this fear. It is the understanding of the complexity they raise, even within and among families, and understanding the importance of feedback that we have received, included in internal family conflict about access and distribution of the grant. We have seen in recent days a rush to transfer registration of utility meters and a rush to prepare tenancy agreements, all of which is aimed at establishing a distinct household, as well as other complications that may arise in administering these benefits. Having regard to these challenges, whether real or perceived, I instructed last Friday that this measure be re-examined with the aim of expanding the benefit while removing the challenges previously highlighted. I further asked that this reconsideration be guided by the following key principles. 1, reducing the burden of administering the benefit. 2, simplifying the procedures for accessing the benefit. 3, improving ease of verification. 4, minimizing any potential conflicts that may arise, whether within the family or in the community. 5, ensuring an open, transparent, verifiable system of delivery. And 6, expansion of the benefit. In addition, of paramount importance was ensuring equitable distribution amongst and within households and across the population at large. In keeping with the above important tenets of this People's Progressive Party civic government that I have the privilege of leading, I wish now to announce that instead of the one-off cash grant of $200,000 to every household previously announced, my government will now expand this benefit by providing a one-off cash grant of $100,000 to every citizen of Guyana 18 years and above as of the 1st of January 2024, with a simple means of verification being possession of a national valid identification card and or a valid passport.
Yep, that is what he said, folks. Welcome back. So in a couple days, folks, you had an announcement of 200,000 instantaneously. Then the announcement that it was going to be about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months before the money started rolling out and everybody could get it. And then today, this other announcement, folks, Cash Grant take 2. I think it was Mr. Norton who said quite recently, them boys didn't get the plan. No, what all this? I've listened to people and we've tweaked it over and we've done this and we've done that and we are caring of, and they ain't got a plan. That's what the leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton, said just recently. They ain't got no plan. No plan.
Now, you must understand why they're outlining these measures. They're outlining these measures because they believe in putting the people first. They're outlining these measures, one, because they are under attack for corruption, and they want to deflect from the pressure being built on them on corruption. 2, they think these ideas have emerged as popular ideas. And so, as part of the political election gimmick, they are going down the road. But as I will show you later in the program, or I can show you now, when you know that they aren't serious and they aren't focusing on the development of the people, they are merely responding to obtain some popularity and to reduce the pressure on them for being the most corrupt government in the history of this country. For me, the issue is not solely who is the boss. What that is a manifestation of the absence of a plan. And what that makes clear to me is that they are just responding to the opposition popular posts. And because they're responding to it without a plan, they ended up in what they ended up. That's the first what they ended up in. The second thing, there was a tussle in the PPP for corrupt this day.
Prominence.
No, this is not prominence. This is the funds that come from corruption. It is well known that Jagdeo has his corrupt cabal, Irfan has his corrupt cabal. And there's a battle between these two corrupt forces. And in that battle, you're seeing in the attempt to implement, the vice president seems to be trying to wrestle control so that his crew can be in charge. Now, let's look at it. Here is it. A president is coming to announce a cash grant. And the government itself has no plan. And you know it has no plan because in the first case, Irfan said instantaneously, and then Jagdeo comes and says in 5 months. Now,
Yep. Welcome back, folks. And in that time, since that time, and it's moved from 5 months to now, it's going to be $100,000. But there's a gentleman who saw this coming from afar off. He saw this coming from afar off. I call him the economic, economic prophet. That is what I call it. Because when he saw this, he said this thing ain't gonna work. He said this plan is not going to work. I know the man, you know the man, we all know the man. And he said what should have been done. Take a listen to what he said quite recently, folks. The fella I'm talking about.
To avoid this problem that is inherent in this issue about households, they should step back and say, listen, we're listening. They indeed got problems with this question about household. We are going to be giving $100,000 to Guyanese residents, adult Guyanese residents. That is easier.
Yeah, and to tell us why it is easier, folks, the one and only former Minister of Finance of the Cooperative or Producing Republic of Ghana, the one and only Winston Jordan. Sir, welcome this evening. I'm sorry we can't see you fully, but I'm so happy we have you via audio. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Good night, Sherrod. Good night, Sherrod. Good night to your listeners. Yeah, man, I'm quite happy always to be on your program.
Prophet Jordan, you saw this coming. You saw this coming. Why did you say this $100,000 per adult would be the easier way to go?
Well, Sherrod, I think what people are basing the 100,000 on is what I said on Sunday. But I can indicate to you that I was on Cam's TV as I normally am on Thursday morning. Thursday morning when you had the parliament came out and you had the address.
Correct.
And I made the proposal on Thursday morning before I even knew what Ali was going to say. Right? I said on that he should announce a cash transfer to resident Guyanese adults of 100,000. That was on Thursday morning. On Thursday around 11 o'clock or so when he made his speech, surprisingly, he came out with a transfer of 200,000 households. So by the time on Sunday, I got to Nation Watch and I refined my proposal and reinforced it. People thought, or most people probably heard it then for the first time, they thought that I was reacting to his proposal. But I had already put out that proposal Thursday morning. So if you're talking with prophet, yes, that was prophesizing what he would have said in his speech. And having said in his speech that was a variant of what I said, I then reinforced why 100,000 to adult resident guys. And it has to be very important because I think he might have made a mistake in the announcement again in saying adult Guyanese 18 years and older on 4th January 2015.
Yeah.
But I think he has to go and correct and put in that other adjective and say resident Guyanese because I got people who call me and find out whether their 100,000 could be wired to them. Because he didn't say resident Guyanese.
Correct. Correct. I had questions of a similar nature. I had questions of a similar nature too. But tell us why you saw this from so far out that individuals rather than families were a better way to go with this measure.
Yeah, well, as you know, the COVID grant distribution was a fiasco of unparalleled proportions. And they want to say you're racist and so on, but when you check the bulk of the people holding pink slips and who were wronged because there was no standard definition of households or people of African descent. And I feared that they were going to suffer a same fate. And I feared even greater because when it was $25,000, maybe they were shrugged their shoulders and moved on. But when it's $200,000, 8 times the $25,000, I rather suspected they would not have taken it lightly. And you may very well have had consequences that we should not get over resources that are essentially the people's own. So I said to get around that, let us give all adult resident Guyanese $100,000. And you know what is important? They said that their 200,000, they were targeting 300,000 households. Don't know what is a household and how that was coming about anyhow. But they said they had $60 billion available for that exercise. And trust me, I don't think there are 600,000 adults in Guyana, residents in Guyana, but it's an outside figure. And at $100,000, that's $60 billion. So unlike what Ali was saying today, there's no additional monies to be paid. In fact, there may be some savings because when you look at the last elections, 500-something thousand people, they claim voted. Right? Now, those 500,000 people included dead people who voted, a number of people who voted who weren't here overseas, multiple people who are here who voted who have several ID cards, right? An individual was seen sharing out ID cards, right? And so on. So if you were able to scrub that list and remove an estimated 20 to 30,000 people on just that, purely that alone, and then readjust it for adults 18 years and over between the last cutoff date for the 2020 elections and January 4th, I still think you don't reach 600,000 adults, because if you got 600,000 adults and roughly 208 something thousand children or below the age of 18, then you're saying the population of Guyana, in terms of resident Guyanese alone, is nearly 900,000. And then when you adjust for all them foreigners and so on who are here and so forth, you are already close to 1 million or thereabout. And since we don't have the census, and since I know the census cannot say we got 1 million people in this country, then the outside figure of 600,000 adults is more than doable. You may even got a little bit of savings, which you could retain in the pot and redistribute later on in 2025.
So your argumentation is that there is no expansion here as the president is proffering.
None whatsoever. Absolutely none whatsoever. None. None whatsoever. Because you will have to be saying that Guyana has 600,000 resident Guyanese in the population. And my argument is that we don't have 600,000 resident Guyanese, because if you did and you add back the 200 something thousand children that you have, that will get you close to 900,000. And then we added all the foreigners who are resident in Guyana also. You were suggesting that the population is 1 million plus. And I don't believe that the census will show that.
Yeah. Former Minister Jordan, part of what you've said in your argumentation is that this one-off cash grant, it's not just for the sake of hurting people economically because of the high cost of living and all of that. Part of it is some of the challenges the PPP might be having internally. I want you to talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, you see, look, Sharon, I think all the big wigs in the PPP party were opposed to cash transfer. There are all kinds of things to say about it. That they can come in an election year, because right now we're into election cycle, election year, and suggest a cash grant without actually naming the objective of the cash grant, because they just announced that there's a one-off cash grant. They didn't say that it's related to cost of living and so on. Because if it's related to cost of living, then it could not have been a one-off cash grant. It would have been a studied cash grant to help people lift them out of poverty, not only cost of living. So I figured and I heard that there were internal polls that were taken, and that their people, their supporters generally were hurting and complaining bitterly. Right, and therefore this cash grant, which came out of the blue, by the way, because it wasn't something that they thought of. It's not something that has been studied.
Yeah.
That is why it's, in a sense, it's a one-off. They are going to scrape some money because obviously they have to chop and change on their capital program. They're going to scrape some money next year, right? They're going to expend the $60 billion, and they are going to do it not necessarily with goodness of heart, but we will accept it, whether goodness or not. But I don't think they're generally convinced about the cost of living and so on. And with the adult and so forth, whatever they may be thinking, they might have been thinking of any excess money and so on. That may very well dissipate. But we must not take our eyes off the ball, because there are a number of other implications of the adult story, It's not necessarily who is an adult and all these kind of things, but it's who got ID cards and other forms of identification suggesting that they might be Guyanese. Right?
Yeah.
So that is an issue. And also since I'm using the term resident, and I'm hoping that he made a mistake. He had to have made a mistake in saying adult Guyanese instead of adult resident Guyanese. The definition of a resident Guyanese in terms of the Income Tax Act is somebody who would have been resident in Guyana 183 days in that year. 183 days in that year. That is who is a resident Guyanese. So essentially, I'm going to address this a little bit more tomorrow morning on Tom's TV. But I think you have to really, really define also who is a resident Guyanese to make certain. In fact, they need to put a manual out there, right, that people could constantly refer to that manual. And the Auditor General, when it comes round to audit, will have a manual in place so that he himself could test some of the names that will come up, whether they were indeed resident Guyanese and so forth. He has to have some guidance by way of a manual.
Yeah. Just before I let you go, former Minister Jordan, You know, Jagger is often touted as this bright boy, and Irfan likes to position himself, you know, as bright and so on. And you heard it even in the presentation that they would have studied this and did their own internal testings and tweaking before. How could this government that claimed that they could run a whole country got this program so terribly wrong from the beginning, from the outset?
Sarah, as I said, it was ad hoc, knee-jerk reaction. They listened to me the morning because they always comes to these programs. They listened to me, but he had prepared his speech already and delivered it. They listened to me again on Sunday on Nation Watch. Okay, and obviously, you know, they're not going acknowledge.
Correct.
They didn't acknowledge Thomas, and obviously they're not going to acknowledge me clearly, you know, because I got a running battle with them for what they attempted to do to me. So they're not going to come on and acknowledge. They don't have that magnanimity, that bigness of heart and so forth. But I'm not worried. I don't care. I didn't put it out. I didn't put out my idea out there to get kudos or to win plaudits and so forth. I put it out as a professional person, as a former minister of finance, as a person who understands numbers,
Clearly.
who did budgeting, right, and so forth, who did planning, who's accustomed to planning, who advised that very same government, who gave advice to the Ali, Jagdio, Ashley Singh, all of them. So I did from that standpoint. I didn't do it to win plaudits and so on. If they want to be magnanimous, so be it. If they don't want, so be it also.
Yeah.
They got free advice that they didn't pay for. And they could use the savings and treat some old people in the old people homes, or those folks under the hand stores who right now are sleeping there and don't know where tomorrow they'll wake up.
Yeah. Former Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan, thanks for coming by on such short notice and explicating on these issues and making it make sense for the rest of us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you as well, again.
Have a good night.
All right, folks, there you have it. Former Minister of Finance, the one and only Winston Jordan. We're talking about cash grant take two. That's the discussion that we started with. Cash grant take two. Sunday on Nation Watch, he said it. What is needed is $100,000 per resident adult Guyanese. And he said that I think the Thursday before, as he said there on CAMS TV. Tell you the man is a prophet. You know what he's talking about. The economic profit of our...
To avoid this problem that is inherent in this issue about households, they should step back and say, listen, we're listening. They indeed got problems with this question about household. We are going to be giving $100,000 to Guyanese residents. Adult Guyanese residents. That is easier.
Yeah, I'm just happy that these guys are listening. Even if they're ashamed to admit it, I am just happy that they're listening, folks, because this thing here could have ended badly. This thing here could have ended very, 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 very. You know, and in spite of all this, you saw the PNCR quite recently saying, you know, these other measures here, these offers of your finale, meaningless when you really think through some of them, folks. When you really look at some of them, you know, read between the lines and some of them, meaningless. Take a look. Take a listen. You're going to want to stay tuned and come back on the other side. We can turn this program in another direction now and show you how this government falling, folks. Falling.
People's National Congress reform has been calling for a number of things to ease the cost of living. These things include the raising of the income tax threshold and adjusting the minimum wage upwards. These measures have been ignored by the government. Former Finance Minister Winston Jordan said that these are populist measures. Recently, President Ali announced a minimum public servant wage of $100,000 per month by the end of 2025.
I don't know why the end of 2025 as opposed to the beginning.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know when he intends, because by the end of 2025, he may or may not be there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you're saddling something with potentially the next government or so on.
Yeah.
The present minimum wage is $86,100 a month. The public servants are expected to receive the same 10% being paid to teachers. This would take the minimum wage to some $94,000 by the end of this year. The promised $100,000 per month in 2025 would be a mere $6,000 increase. This represents a 5% increase.
So you're telling me in election year you were prepared to give me 5%? Huh? You give me 10 this year and give me 5% election. People must stop jumping up at these measures and nothing to shout about or jump up about, and that in any case. The threshold right now is 100,000. Right now the threshold is 100,000. When your salary go to $100,000 in a minimum wage in 2025, how have you gained? You haven't gained anything. You still beyond a gross salary of so much. You still haven't gained
Jordan
anything.
said that the announced $10,000 income tax relief per child sounds good. However, it works against the poor.
A poor person has more children than a rich or a middle class.
Yeah.
A poor person has got anywhere between 3 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But that same poor person works, most of them at minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them a lot of them at the private sector minimum wage,
Yeah.
which is 60,000.
Yeah.
The government only is 86. So let me ask you something. Without, it's a deduction from your it's a deduction before you reach chargeable income.
Right.
It's not 10,000 being given in your hand like the PNC has suggested that you will get a child grant
Right.
of 10,000.
Mm.
This is a deductible. But I have no income from which this 10,000 can be deducted. Precisely.
These people are paying no taxes, so they can't benefit from this tax break. Again, this measure will benefit the higher wage earners.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Now to the other side of town. To the other side of town, folks. And to the people who don't need no 10,000, they don't even need the 200,000. Them boys only get up out of bed for millions on the other side of town. You're going to want to put your trays in an upright position, put your seat up to, and strap yourself in. Because matters got 100 times worse in the last few hours. Folks, strap yourself in. Strap yourselves in. For those persons who are new to this issue, an investigation started a little while ago into allegations of corruptions and money laundering against the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Calvin Brutus. He was sent on leave to facilitate that investigation. Since then, we've seen a number of things in the public domain, folks, and they seem to have been coming and building to a climax over the last few days, over the last few hours. The more recent of events, we saw Big Smith News publishing a series of things. Now he's facing some litigation from the local government minister within that ministry, Anand Prasad, who, according to Big Smith News update, says that he was one of the persons pushing this investigation against Brutus, pushing this investigation, good folks, against the Commissioner of Police acting, pushing this investigation. He has now sent Anand Prasad, that is, a letter to Big Smith News Watch. And of course, we read our response for you this morning. I don't want to go back into all that. I'm just giving you a brief overview. In addition to that, Big Smith News Watch had also told this nation that Karen Bash had given monies to Brutus on his wedding day. And we're hearing it's millions of dollars. Had given Brutus, Karen Bash, this is the head of SOCU, who investigated Brutus, had given Brutus millions of dollars on his wedding day. 2. And so a lot of folks saw this investigation as a conflict of interest, police investigating police, friends investigating friends. Karen Bash also sent Big Smith News a lawyer's letter. Cease and desist, he said. I had nothing to do with this. I went no way. I didn't do nothing. Folks, the matter was building and building and building. This morning, we got up to hear that SOCU had find no wrongdoing and then the matter was closed. In a matter of hours, just like when we heard the $200,000 instantaneously, then we hear it's 5 months, now we hear it's $100,000. In like fashion, from the matter being closed, so could dispatch a letter and said, no, not so fast. We have sent to the DPP dozens of charges against Karen Bash, against Brutus. Karen Bash from Soku said we sent to the DPP dozens of charges for wrongdoing, even though they said none were criminal in nature, but for wrongdoing nonetheless. Dozens of charges. We said, well, this story here got a lot of sides. This thing got teeth. Brace yourself. Brace yourself, folks. Have we given them all the main points? I think we have. Forgive us, we couldn't do it graphically to show you in the interest of time coming on this evening. But we know tonight now, folks. We know tonight now a lot of things. Y'all gonna share the light? Y'all gonna smash that emoji button, good folks? We know a lot of things. We know tonight that the Deputy Commissioner of Police, this is the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Deputy Calvin Brutus, he taking everybody to court. Brutus carrying the AG to court. He carrying the Police Service Commission to court. He carrying the Commissioner of Police to court. He carried the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOKU, to court. Everybody he carrying to court. And folks, there's the reasons. Hold on. You go want to share the light. Man down. You go want to share the light, folks. You go want to share the light. If you hear the reasons, as I said, in a fixed date application, we saw all the court documents. Calvin Brutus, Deputy Commissioner of Police, he's carrying the Attorney General to court. He's carrying the Police Service Commission to court. He's carrying the Commissioner of Police to court. He's carrying the Special Organized Crime Unit, and by extension, Karen Bash, to court. In a fixed date application means, this fixed date application thing means that as soon as the thing is filed, as it has been, we saw the court documents, a date could be set. We don't know that date yet. We didn't see that date in the documentation when this matter is going to be called for hearing. But we know that Brutus is represented by one Earl Daniels, he's represented by one Hubert Ali Cock, and he's represented by one Dominic Best. So he has a battery of lawyers. Folks, you're going to want to wait to hear the reasons he carrying this matter to court. As I said, this is a fixed date application with notice, and it was filed under the Judicial Review Act, Chapter 306. And it is a claim, it is an administrative order claim. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it yet. Don't worry about it yet. Here, the things that this case revolves around. Brace it over. Here are the issues that this case revolves around. Political interference and abuse of power within the Ghana police force. Are you hearing me? When folks said the PPP are in trouble and this cash granting might be a distraction, and that is why it wasn't so thought out and so thoughtful, they are right. Folks, the Deputy Commissioner of Police is carrying the Police Commissioner to court. He carrying the government of Ghana to court. He carrying SOKU to court. Everybody going to court. He says allegations, he's making allegations of political interference and abuse of power within the Ghana police force. Calvin Brutus is alleging that he was unlawfully transferred and sent on leave due to fabricated allegations of financial crimes. He said the whole thing was fabricated. And folks, everything I'm telling you here is what I have read, we have read in the court documents that have already been filed today. Today, the documentation has been filed that he was unlawfully transferred and sent on leave due to fabricated allegations of financial crimes. It goes on and it gets worse. Let me just tell you, it gets worse. You want to say it to the end. You want to share the live and smash that emoji. You thought we had problems in cash grant? Folks, government falling. We only going to do a couple things right, folks. We're in the sweet spot right now. This elections is ours to lose. That will be ours. We are on the course to win the next general and regional election. But we got to do a couple things right. We got to do a couple things right. All right. That aside. So he's alleging that matters were fabricated of financial crimes. He is alleging that there was political interference in his transfer. Well, this is the Deputy Commissioner of Police. He's alleging this against the Police Commissioner, against the Attorney General, against Sheriff Fanali, against Karambash, against Oku. He's alleging against the Ghana Police Force, the Deputy Commissioner of Police. These matters have been filed. We tell you what we know, not what we are assuming, folks. It goes on. It goes on, folks. You all sitting down? You're bracing yourself? Listen to this now. Listen to this. According to court documents, Calvin Brutus claims that this was orchestrated, all that I've told you before, was orchestrated. Listen to this now. Brace yourself. It was orchestrated by high-ranking government officials, including the acting commissioner of police, including the minister of home affairs, to facilitate the promotion of other individuals in the Ghana Police Force. Like, what the heck? He said, folks, in the court documents already filed, he said all that we've told you already, orchestrated by high-ranking government officials, plural, including the Commissioner of Police, Clifton Hickins, including the Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, including others, officials, he said, to facilitate the promotion of other individuals in the Ghana Police Force. And if you think, folks, there's it, brace yourself. When these things happen, it's not the end. The good book said it's the beginning of sorrows. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. Listen to this now. Remember Soku conducting this investigation. In these court documents, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Calvin Brutus, he's alleging that Soku, the Special Organized Crimes Unit, conducted a biased and prejudiced investigation against him, he says, influenced by political pressures. Jesus of mercy. Who's sharing this live tonight? Calvin Brutus, who carried everybody to court right now. He's alleging in court documents we've seen that Soku conducted a biased, prejudiced investigation against him, influenced by political pressure. He accuses Soku, listen to this now, brace yourself. Brace your damn self. He's accusing Soku of manipulating information, intimidating witnesses, and unlawfully leaking information to the media and social media personalities, or rather social media, or rather leaking on social media to tarnish his reputation. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? Let me run it one more time in case you missed it. The Deputy Commissioner of Police is alleging that Soku, that branch, that entity within the Ghana Police Force, conducted biased and prejudiced investigation against him, influenced by political pressure. He accuses Soku of manipulating evidence, intimidating witnesses, and unlawfully leaking information to the media and social media to tarnish his reputation. You take it down there, hold on, it gets worse. That's what, folks, maybe I should stop reading. I ain't seeing folks sharing the broadcast. I ain't seeing people smashing that emoji button. Maybe I'm boring y'all. Maybe I should stop. Candy the Leland Digits, Chanel Wells, Shireen Baines, Granite Anderson, Corey, Dion Benjamin, maybe you should stop. I'm telling you from the court documents we saw already filed, not about to be filed, in this fixed date application. In this fixed date application, these are the things the Deputy Commissioner of Police is alleging in these court documents filed today. He is alleging that certain actions of certain actors were ultra vires. Yep, Deputy Commissioner of Police claims that the Commissioner of Police, the Minister of Home Affairs, the Police Service Commission acted ultra vires. This means you've gone beyond your power and authority in transferring him, in sending him on leave, and denying his request for overseas leave. And you ain't the worst yet. You ain't heard the worst yet. He is alleging, folks, he is alleging that the Commissioner, Home Affairs Minister, Public Service Commission, Police Service Commission rather, all acted beyond their powers in denying him overseas leave, sending him on leave in the first instance, and in transferring him. Everybody going to court. Right? Everybody going to court. Those are some of the most important facts in this matter I'm giving you now. Political interference and improper procedures. The Deputy Commissioner of Police, in this application to the court, he asserts that his transfer and forced leave were politically motivated and executed through improper administrative processes or procedures, violating the principle of natural justice. He claimed that he was not given a fair opportunity to respond to the allegations against him. This is Deputy Commissioner of Police. He is seeking a declaration of the court that the Commissioner of Police acted ultra vires on July 4th, 2022 in transferring him from the position of Deputy Commissioner Administration due to political directives and improper administrative procedures. Jesus have mercy. Jesus have mercy. And then again, on the same tenor of bias and prejudicial or prejudiced investigation, the Deputy Commissioner alleges that SOCU investigation was biased. It was tainted by, listen to this, overwhelming and undue publicity, prejudicing public perception, and undermining the presumption of innocence. He said SOCU was leaking information all the while they're doing this investigation, which undermined him and the presumption of innocence and his presumption of innocence. He claims this violated his constitutional rights. These are court documents filed today. He seeks a declaration from the court that the investigation that sent all of these dozens of charges to the DPP was inherently biased and irreparably tainted due to the overwhelming and undue publicity which has prejudiced public perception and again undermined the presumption of innocence, thereby rendering the investigation fundamentally unfair and in breach of his constitutional rights. You think it done that? Huh? Harassment and violation of rights. Well, hold for this one now. Hold for this one. This is where the thing hitting the fan now. Here is where the thing hitting the fan. The Deputy Commissioner of Police of the Ghana Police Force in the Cooperative Oil Producing Republic says in court documents that he is being harassed and this is in violation of his rights. You remember what Vashni Jagdeo alleged was being done to her when time was up and she just wanted to go her own way. You all remember some of the allegations? Well, it's similar in nature. He is being harassed, Deputy Commissioner of Police. And he says this is in violation of his rights. He accuses the government. Listen to this now. Listen to this now. He is accusing the government, Deputy Commissioner of Police, in these court documents, Captain Brutus. He's accusing the Ghana Police Force, Irfan Ali, Bar Jagdio. He's accusing Clifton Hickens, Karen Bash, Robson Ben. He's accusing Aaron Landilal. He's accusing the PPP of harassing him and violating his rights. He accuses the government of harassing him by obstructing his access to services at state agencies. Senior policeman, he's saying when he turns up to do business at state agencies, he's being turned away. Folks, if they can do that to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, what would they do to us? I'm reading from the court documents of a court matter, fixed date application, already filed, and in the court today, after Soku said they forwarded dozens of charges to the police, to the DPP's office, and we're being told by our own legal advisors that only need one charge to stick to get him out of the force. The government only want one charge to stick. Dozens have been sent. They only want one charge to stick. The Deputy Commissioner of Police is accusing the government, the PPP install regime, of harassing him by obstructing him or obstructing his access to services at state agencies. Listen to this now, including central housing and planning. Some building, some house, somewhere. He had a plan in there. They stopped the plan. They said don't deal with him no more. This is the court documents. Central housing and planning. He says this violates his rights. Constitutional rights. On Article 142, 144, 148 of the Constitution. Yeah. And he's seeking from the court a declaration that a government action in preventing him access to services at state agencies constitutes harassment and a violation of rights, again under the Constitution. Article 142, 144, 146. Look at this, chapter 101. You think it finished there? Several places we've been told he has tried to do business and the government is blocking him. It's a Brutus no. Here's where Brutus know. If they could block Brutus from doing business with state agency, Jamal Aziz, what they want to do for you? Alana, what they want to do for you? Eva, Marlon, Joel, Alana Adams, what will they do to you? A small man like me? I have been quoting extensively here from court documents that we have seen and made copious notes from. Let me take a sweep at some of the reliefs he is asking of the court. Let me take a sweep at some of these. Huh? Let me take a sweep at some of them. Hold on, the dollar coming. The dollar coming. Hold on. He's saying a lot of things here. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Calvin Brutus, in these court documents, he's saying a lot of things. He's seeking various declarations from the courts, including, I've already quoted some of them, declarations and the actions of all those people named, all the named respondents, Commissioner of Police, the Minister of Home Affairs, the President, AG, Judge, everybody. He's seeking declarations from the court that their actions, again, were ultra-virus and unlawful. And he's asking the court to quash this decision to transfer him and to send him on leave. That's what he's asking of the court. Listen to this now. He's asking of the court an order restraining the Soku investigation. Yep. Quash all these decisions to transfer me, to send me on leave. Quash all of them. I quote. And he's asking an injunction preventing further harassment and obstruction from his access to these state services and restraining the investigation from Soku. Yep. Yep. He's asking an injunction of the court preventing further harassment and obstruction from his access to state services. We're being told that the PPP is calling everybody they can call and sanctioning the Deputy Commissioner of Police by saying, just like the US Treasury Department did quite recently to some individuals, do not do business with this named person here. That's what we're being told this evening. PPP, listen to this part. I did promise you, I don't know. The Deputy Commissioner of Police says that he has supporting evidence. He said he has supporting evidence. Yep. The court document says he intends to rely on documentary evidence to support all that he has said. Intimidation, harassment, political interference. All of this is listed in court documents, folks. He has an affidavit of witnesses. Listen to this now. He has transcripts. He has videos. He has audio recordings. He has photographs. Nice time. Nice time. Where's the transcripts for me? Here's the videos for me. Here's the audio recordings and the photographs. You see, you can top that up with some news articles. Huh? He said you can top that up with some administrative correspondences that he has as well. The transcript, the video, the audio recording, and the photographs for me. I don't want to see when the videos. I want to hear what the Deputy Commissioner of the Police recorded about political interference from senior functionaries in the PPP government. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. Yeah. As I said, this is a fixed date application and it's scheduled for a hearing before a judge of the High Court. We don't know what that date is yet because, as I said, this matter was filed just today. The court will decide whether to grant the relief sought by the applicant. Yep. Folks, if they got a modicum of truth to what the Deputy Commissioner of Police is accusing the PPP government of, you see the thing about blacklisting people from services? That's a real story, you know. Faced by a lot of Guyanese. Imagine what an opposition member as vocal as I am would face in this system. Could you imagine if an agency offers you water? Let's say you don't get water. You gotta go to the agency and say, every day, could I get a cup of water? Could you imagine if I turn up there? Don't deal with he. Don't deal with he. Legal by Norton them. The commissioner is saying, office after office after office, Deputy Commissioner of Police, he is going to transact legitimate business and he is being turned away. Presumption of innocence until proven guilty. I want the Deputy Commissioner of Police to have his day in court. I want him to have his day in court. I want him to lay out the supporting evidence. The affidavits of which I want to hear from the witnesses. I want to read the transcripts. I want to see the videos. I want to hear the audio recordings. You see that thing about political pressure, political interference, and victimization? Huh? Over to you now, Jack Dion. Y'all wonder why Avon reading from a prompter and all over the place in that 8 minutes presentation, saying it's no longer 200,000 or 100,000. You wonder why Avon 10 times as great than when he went to Parliament last week in a couple of days? Pressure bus pipe. Pressure bus pipe. And from what we know, good folks out there, as we take our leave this evening, from what we know, good folks, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. Thanks for joining our broadcast. We're going to see you guys right back here on the next one. Pace and power. Thanks for joining us. Danielle, Stacey-Ann, Deborah, Beatrice, Diane, Kim, Jamal, and Stacey. Everybody. Everybody. A good night to all. A good night to all, except every time this man come round, it's chaos and confusion. Good night to all. Well, not all. Except Ropeman, except the AG, except the Commissioner of Police, except Reverend Ali, and this one, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. Every government that he in is chaos and confusion. It's corruption and confusion powder. Every government. A good night to all except him. And the others, named respondents. That's our time, good folks. That's our time. That's the program. And that's the last bell.